Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of Feelings in Flannel. Today we get into debating our respective top 5 rom-coms to create a unified top 5 favorite rom-coms list. Be sure to like and subscribe and share it on your social media page. Let's get into it.
Feelings in Flannel is hosted by us. I'm Adam.
I'm Amylia.
And we are a father-daughter combo who are setting out to debate the merits of love, romance, humor, and faith in rom-coms new and old.
Listen and join us as we seek to name the top 5 rom-coms and discuss masculinity and femininity together and how that plays into role. Make sure to like and subscribe and share it with your friends on social media.
Stay tuned. All right, episode 9. We're here. This is the episode we start counting, not counting down, but kind of pulling our list together into a unified list. I'm looking forward to this. I think we won't have to fight about it too much.
I don't think so either. One, it helps that our number 3s are the same now. But I think some of them are pretty different. But I don't know, because obviously I want all mine to be the number 5.
Do you think it's going to be easy to get to a unified list because mine is superior? Because that's what I was thinking, is that should make it easier.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, but for me.
Okay. I forgot how bad you suck at trash talk, so
That's a good thing. I speak with love and kindness like Jesus said.
I think Jesus was a trash talker in his own way.
He was a mic dropper, not a trash talker.
Oh, okay.
He put you in your place without having to be mean about it.
Okay, well, maybe I'm remembering wrong. On that note, though, I think it's important for us to say, last episode 8, I feel like we had a great conversation. I know I enjoyed it. And then, of course, at the end, speaking directly to our audience. And I think it's important to note for those listening that while we hold those beliefs and we share those beliefs as Christians and believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, we don't push that on other people. But in this case, as we were talking about the importance of the father's role, it just seems so important for me, and knowing the source of my parenting decisions comes from my faith. And that's so much what we were talking about. But I think it's important for us to make sure that our listeners know that, we're not pushing that on anyone. This is a podcast about fun and nonsense and romantic comedies. It's not necessarily about our faith and trying to make it their faith. But we are passionate about our faith, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard to talk about who we are, especially in that episode, because we were talking about getting to know who we are individually or as a father-daughter. And it's kind of hard to leave out Jesus because he's the reason of who we are. It's kind of just like, to me, it's kind of like introducing yourself without saying your name. It's just like, I can't talk about myself without talking about him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we are going to keep doing that because that's who we are. I just think it's really good for our audience to know that we are inviting everyone to listen and join us. And whether you believe like we do or not, we still want you to listen. We still want you to have fun with us. And we do believe that our conversations are still a lot to take away and apply to your own life, to your relationship with your father or your daughter, if you're a father listening. And so just thought it'd be good to circle back and make sure we say that. So we're going to compete a little bit. It's like a battle royale for a unified top 5. We've got them on the screen here for reference, but we're going to start pushing those together. So what do you think? I mean, we're going to start with 5, right?
Yeah, we'll go from least to number 1.
Okay.
And compare each spots.
Okay.
So 5 versus 5 and so on.
Okay, so in the process of making a case for a fifth, what do you think we should include in the conversation? Because I came prepared with statistics.
I did not. I don't do the numbers. They're not my friend. I came prepared with nothing, but I mean, I'll probably be slacking a little bit today because my head is like cement today. I'm really tired, but
that's all right. In episode 6, I had a fierce migraine and I was struggling, so I got you. I'll carry you. Just climb on my back. I got this.
All right. I think that we should consider our criteria because I think some of your movies meet mine and some of mine meet yours. So that can help narrow it down. But also the little bit of competitive, like I wouldn't mind to win. I fought to the death with my number one, but it's not my number one anymore. But
No, it's not. It didn't make it.
No.
It died a quick death on the battlefield there. But okay, so let's do it this way. How about this? You had 3 criteria. I had 3 criteria. They were distinctly different. So that gives us 6 criteria that we could just quickly kind of check through. Mm-hmm. And then we had our bonus criteria, which was the same, which was about the soundtrack. It had to be I called it classy. I think you called it a bop.
Yeah, a bop of a soundtrack.
So we're going to have to post terms and definitions for anyone listening. I don't know some of the stuff that you say.
I feel like a bop is
giddy and girly, heart squeeze.
I explained
bop.
A bop is kind of self-explanatory. It just makes you bop with the music.
Maybe we should start a Feelings in Flannel Wikipedia page just for your language. Maybe that would be helpful.
I like to think my language adds some flavor to what we're talking about, some spice.
Okay. The vibe. Okay. All right. So what do you think? We get 6 criteria if we do it that way, plus a 7th bonus.
Yep.
And that could be a good way. So maybe if we go through, we'll start with our 5th, then whichever one ticks more criteria wins. That's about as objective as it can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be arguing back and forth forever.
Yeah, and I'm big. So if it gets physical, I would never hit you.
Well,
on camera.
All right.
That was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. I would never, ever lay hands on you. But that really wasn't funny at all. We shouldn't joke about that. For real. That's not funny. Okay, so your 5th was 10 Things I Hate About You. My 5th spot was When Harry Met Sally. So let's roll through the criteria, shall we?
All right.
Okay.
Are we all?
No, let's do one at a time. Let's do 10 Things I Hate About You first.
Well, I mean, it meets my 3 criteria.
It met all 3? Are you just saying that?
No, it really did. That's why they're up there. It met. My first one was the giddy and girly with the little heart squeeze. And then it met the shift because they have a shift because they go from hating to loving. Uh-huh. But really, they love each other the whole time.
Okay.
And then the last one was cute moments, or like that they know each other. And there's a few of those. There's not as many, but there's some. And then the soundtrack is good. Okay,
so what you're saying is that the 3rd criteria is pretty weak. So you got like 2.5 plus the bonus.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so then does it have a redemptive component? You know this movie better than I do, so.
Based on what you described, yes. It's not as like, whoa, as some of your movies are. Or like, I think Pretty Woman has the strongest example for the redemptive component. But, I mean, he goes from being like this notorious, like, jerk. He's kind of scary. He has this reputation that he's, like, murdered people. Like, people are scared of him. And then she has a reputation of being the same. Like, people just hate her because she's blunt and she's honest and she's rude and she's aggressive. And no guy wants her. But
she's a journalist, right?
No, Dad. They're in high school.
What's
That's number 4. That's my number 4.
All right. Well, let's not go there yet. Yeah. Okay.
Just,
sorry.
If you don't know the movie,
I'm trying to remember the movie. I don't.
They're in high school.
Did you just tell me to shut up?
Respectfully. In a nice way, the way Jesus would say.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're in high school, and it's like this guy really wants to date her sister, but the dad's like, no dating, and until she does, and they're like, well, crap, she doesn't date. All guys are scared of her. But then he gets paid to go out there, and then they end up falling in love throughout the thing. That's this movie. And
it's pretty weak in the redemptive
it's not
category.
That's why I said it's not like whoa, but I mean So let's
decide right now that it's either a full point or a half point, right?
All right.
Or a no point. So in this, I'm thinking of the redemptive component. It's got to be a no point or a half point.
I don't know. I think a half point because it's not like that's not the main focus. I guess the redemptive piece would be their reputations are.
Yeah, but the redemptive piece that I'm talking about is like a mindset shift about themselves. Like I go from being arrogant to realizing that people matter or something like that. Like it's an internal kind of shift, not just a reputation, because reputation could be built on lies. And that's not as much. So I think I'm leaning towards a no point on redemptive.
Yeah.
All right. So your 5th so far has 2.5 points plus the bonus. Yep. So 2.5 right now. All right. Is one of the characters out of place? Like they don't belong?
Yeah. I would say it's a full point for both of the main characters. Well, actually, there's all the people on the front there's like 3-4 interwoven love stories. The main one is Kat and I can't remember his name in the movie, but it's Heath Ledger's character. Is that his name? I don't know. Anyway,
that's an awfully small picture. I'm not sure.
He played the Joker, Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
is that his name?
Heath Ledger.
For some reason, I thought I said it wrong. Anyway, because out of place. I forgot what we were talking about. I said I was struggling today.
Hello? Did you glitch?
Yeah, I glitch every day. Yeah, so she's out of place. They're both kind of these social outcasts because they just don't go along with the norms. So they are self-induced out of place. Like they choose to be against society.
They're choosing to swim upstream.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, because I think the out of place, like take Hitch, right? So one that we agree on, Albert, he's out of place. He's a goofy guy.
So without trying, you mean?
Yeah, it's just like you don't fit in. And Pretty Woman is another great example. She didn't fit in for obvious reasons in a high-class environment, right? She's a street worker. So that's what I mean. It's like by way of your circumstance or your personality, not your choice to just go against the grain.
Then I would say it's half a point, because there are characters in there like he's the nerdy guy and he doesn't get the girl. So I would say a half a point because it's there, but it's not like, it's not, some of it's organic, out of place, but some of it is they're just choosing to not give in to society's expectations for everybody.
Which has its own value, right? But, okay, so that puts us at 3. Yeah, I'd take another half point there. The last criteria on my side is that there's a creative or patient pursuit.
Either half or full, maybe full, because it starts, he's just getting paid to go out there so that this guy can go on a date with her sister. Mm-hmm. And then he starts to hang out with her and start to realize he kind of likes her. She's different from the other girls, as the cliche goes. And then he starts noticing different things that she likes, getting things that she likes for her. And you kind of see him start to fall for her first, and then she's sort of in denial about it because she's for so long been on the stance like men are misogynistic, all that kind of thing. She's like a hardcore feminist.
Okay.
So she's kind of like, I've stood against love for so long, can't really give into it. But then he just he stops accepting the money because he's like, I actually want to be with her now because I like her, not because I'm just trying to help a kid out.
Yeah.
So I think it's there. And then you start to see how they date and everything like that. And it's there. It's kind of hard to describe without describing the whole movie. And if you don't remember it that well, it's hard to describe. But it's there. I would give it a full point.
Okay. So we're at 4 points of 6 plus a bonus. So you've got 6 of 7 points on 10 Things I Hate About You. So let's table that. Let's go to When Harry Met Sally, which was my 5th pick. And you do remember all of these movies much better than I do. So for the sake of time, we may have to pace a little bit differently. But let's go. When Harry Met Sally, we went through this a little bit. It had 2 of my criteria, in the sense that there's a redemptive component. It seems pretty obvious in the movie, especially on his side. And then the creative pursuit side of it, that's there. The belonging bit doesn't seem to be there, like feeling out of place, not so much. The soundtrack, I can't remember, honestly. And so I can't really advocate that it should get a point if I can't remember it. That seems fair.
I watched this movie one time, and I remember it. I wouldn't say I could describe everything as well as some of mine, but I don't really remember the soundtrack either.
So let's not give it that. So we've got 2, which means already, even if it hit all 3 of your boxes, it loses. So we can keep moving instead of spending more time talking about When Harry Met Sally, because that's in another episode. So yeah, I guess number 5, we're going to agree that the number 5 that we're in our unified list is going to be 10 Things I Hate About You.
Winner!
That wasn't so bad. And we've got number 3 we already agree on, so we're working it out. Yeah, we're going to make our way through this. Now, I'm willing to fight on this next one. Our number 4, you've got 27 Dresses, and I had The Proposal. So let's run them down. Let's do it backwards this time.
All right.
Proposal, redemptive component, absolutely. Right? The creative and or patient pursuit, absolutely. Mostly the patience side of it. I think then the feeling out of place, it was, although it was her choice to manipulate the situation, try to keep from getting deported. She was in a family that operates much differently than she'd ever had. Like, she didn't really know what that was. So she was really out of place. So absolutely, I think on that. Soundtrack. Let's come back to that, because I can't remember the soundtrack.
I don't know. I don't remember there being well-known songs. Like some have a popular song, whether it's Elton John or whatever. I don't remember the soundtrack that well either. I think it was more like instrumental kind of.
Let's see if it's not a clear winner here on our 4. Let's go back to soundtrack. We can look it up just right here on the spot. But so we got 3. My 3 criteria were ticked, all 3 on this movie, The Proposal. So let's run yours down. Giddy and Girly?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, it takes some time because he despises her at the beginning.
right.
for a good chunk of the beginning. There are definitely heart squeeze moments. I talked about it when we talked about the movie, when they get to know each other, when he's laying on the floor and she's in the bed and asks about her tattoo and all that stuff.
Right.
There's that moment. There's a moment when she falls off the boat and he rescues her. I like the damsel in distress kind of.
Okay.
That's controversial at this point in time.
It's definitely hitting the heart squeeze.
Yeah.
So that's 4.
The shift.
The shift for sure. Mm-hmm. That one was obvious
for both.
And then your third was
showing that they know the other one, or like cute moments, like
it does at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like.
But all along the way, right? I mean, he was her personal assistant. Like, he knew her really well, so he used a lot of what he knew through the movie. Once he realized that he cared, or he was taking care of her in some way. So I think it hits it.
Yep.
So we're 6 for 6. May come down to the soundtrack. We'll see. But 27 Dresses. Did it hit all 3 of yours?
Heart or Getting Girly, yeah.
Okay.
The shift, yeah. And cute moments. Stuff that they know the other person. Yeah. So that, and the soundtrack hits it for me. I don't remember all the songs, so I guess maybe like a half a point for soundtrack. I just remember there's Elton John, Benny and the Jets, and that's one of the best scenes in the movie. And so,
yeah. But
the soundtrack isn't awful, but it's not like the key component, so I would give half a point.
All right, so 3.5, and we may have to come down to soundtrack here on the other. Redemptive?
I don't really think so, in the way of...
Doesn't really stand out. Like, it's one of those things, like, it's pretty obvious when it stands out, and if you have to... I mean, you can always, like, think hard enough to find some redemptive piece, but...
I wouldn't say it's super obvious, probably in small ways, like, she's less uptight about stuff, but it's not like a character redemptive moment.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
no.
So no point there. So already it's lost. That's sad.
Yeah. But, I mean, I kind of expected that going in, because I feel like if Hitch stayed at number 4, it would have been a lot harder to narrow that down.
Agreed.
Because
I agree with you
they're
there.
equal but different. But 27 Dresses is kind of a different type of... I don't know. They're both funny, but I don't know. I kind of expected to lose, so I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
I wasn't checking in on you, but I'm glad you're all right.
I just had to assure myself. It's
I can do hard things.
I kind of expected it going up against that one. So.
Yeah, I thought so too. When I was looking at just before, when we were preparing, I was thinking, okay, I'm pretty willing to give up When Harry Met Sally. I can get down on that, but I think The Proposal is going to win here. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of coming out, even though we're doing it, by the way, in a very quantifiable way, which is data-esque. It's data-informed decision-making. That's what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Makes my heart happy. Thanks for participating.
You're welcome.
It's coming out kind of like we thought. So right now, Unified number 5, 10 Things I Hate About You. Unified number 4, The Proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Winner!
Number 3, we actually had an agreement because you tried to cheat.
I didn't try.
You didn't try. You're right. You just did it. That's the truth.
I just
cheated.
No, yeah. Well,
you opened with, this might not make it.
But that's not cheating. That's just an incorrect choice.
Foolishness?
Yes.
All right. Well, because you proposed a movie that is not searchable as a rom-com, your number 1 was taken out, and your list, you decided you would shift down and create a new number 5, which now becomes the unified 5th. But because of that shifting around, we end up with the same number 3, which is Hitch. And there's no doubt in my mind it ticks all 6 boxes and the bonus.
The soundtrack.
That was a awesome movie.
Winner!
So we've got 3. That's not bad. We've got enough time to do one more in this episode, and I know it's one you're pretty passionate about. So let's get into it. So we've got 3 of the 5 decided, and now we're going to decide between my number 2, which was The Holiday, and your number 2, which is While You Were Sleeping. So. Let's start with The Holiday. Okay. Redemptive.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was healing. Like it was like a whole healing process. There wasn't really redemption other than redemption from poor relationship choices, but that doesn't fit what I described. So, okay. So no on redemptive, character out of place, not feeling like they fit in, they belong.
I would say half a point.
Yeah, probably a half, right? I mean, they both didn't fit in or belong. They were in a foreign country in a home they didn't, in a
Physically,
town they didn't belong in.
Yeah.
Okay, so half a point. This isn't going very well for me right now.
I kind of expected that, so sorry.
Okay, easy.
I want this one to be in the top 5.
And then the last component for me is the patient or creative pursuit. 100% a check. Jack Black was phenomenal. And he's the guy, right? He's the one filling all those traditional roles in that side. So I got to give it 1 on that. So 1.5. Soundtrack. It's a holiday movie. It's a Christmas movie. So not a soundtrack I'm going to listen to again. So, until Christmas comes around. So half a point. I mean, it's a holiday soundtrack. That's great.
Basic.
It makes the movie. So 2 points so far.
Well, that is not good.
Giddy and Girly? Heart squeeze?
Personally, I've said it before, I don't really like this movie. If it was just Jack Black and Kate Winslet,
Fair.
it would be an excellent movie. But
okay, so is there a heart squeeze?
Between them? Like
Yes.
in their story?
Yes.
I didn't see did I watch the whole movie with you? Yes, I did.
I think so.
I don't know. I don't remember any huge yeah. I just remember thinking it was a friendship for a while. Like they were just hanging out. So
Yeah.
they didn't really have the romance part till towards the end. So I feel like
Which, if you remember, when we went through this the first time, that's one of the reasons I said I really liked it, is because it felt so real, more natural, right? Not out of reach. Okay, so not. Would you go for a half a point? Can I get a half a point on heart squeeze?
I think maybe like a quarter of a point.
Okay, well, we're only doing halves. So.
Okay, no.
All right, so no. So we're still at 2 points. The shift, for sure.
With them, yeah. With Cameron Diaz's character in them.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
It started as a RomCom.
Yeah, but
That was good. That was a good joke.
yeah.
I mean,
was.
really,
But-
it started. It's just 100% one night stand. The shift was just not what you wanted. It's not the shift you want. Be honest. There was a shift. It just wasn't the one you prefer.
All right.
All right.
I can see that now.
3 points for mine, and your last one was
Things that they know the other one, or cute moments like that. I feel like they do.
yeah.
One.
Okay. Yeah. Because even though, what's his name? Jude Law kind of started in a way. He kind of became a romantic.
Yeah.
So, okay. So 4 points. Soundtrack, we gave it a half, but that's already included, I believe, in the 4. So 4 points there. We've got about 5 minutes. So while you were sleeping.
I can do this. It checks all of them. Period. Over. Number 2.
All of yours?
All of them. All of yours, all of mine. All
Okay.
around.
All right. Redemptive? I'll give you this. It is, I assume that it checks at least 2.5 of yours.
It checks. Okay, I'm trying to think.
It's a Christmas, it's
Gideon
a holiday
Girl.
set scene, right?
Yeah, so if that compares with
To half a point.
both Christmas
So it's a half a point.
for soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because
All
I
right.
don't really remember any like, wow, that's a great soundtrack. I just love it because I love Christmas. The Gideon Girly, definitely throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
The shift happens with her and Jack because she thinks she's in love with this random guy she met
Right.
or saw on the subway, and then he is in a coma. But then the shift with them, like they start hanging out, and then switches, and she's like, "Oh, I
Right.
actually love this brother." And then cute moments, definitely. I mean, he gets her a snow globe with Florence in it. I want a snow globe with Florence in it. So it meets all mine.
Okay.
Half a point, so 3.5 for me.
So 3.5. So it's got to pull a half a point. It's got to pull a full point to win.
Oh,
This is a buzzer beater.
yep.
Is it redemptive? I don't think so.
It's not.
It is not. Does one of the characters not belong?
Yes.
Because they're in a hospital? Because they're well?
Because hers is like she doesn't have a family. It's kind of like the proposal. Like she comes in and she's like, "This is what a family is," but I didn't know. Half a point. Half a point. Half a point. Yep. All right. I
Okay.
think so.
Half a point.
And
You got to pull another half.
all right.
The last thing is creative and patient pursuit. And as I'm saying it,
You know you lost. It's all right.
I think I've lost.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, how much more patient can you be?
I know.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Winner!
All right. So we've got 4 of our 5. We're out of time for episode 9. But that means in episode 10, we're going to decide what our unified number 1 is. And this is going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle.
I will fight until the death, until I'm
Well,
blue
we're
in
going to
the
spend
face.
30 minutes debating this then because
Oh my gosh.
I
this
love
is
my
so
number
hard.
1. It's
I love
one
mine.
of my favorite movies, period. But we've got 4 of 5. Let's run them down. Number 5, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 in the unified list is The Proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is Hitch. And number 2 is The Holiday.
It is while you were sleeping.
Okay, it's while you were sleeping. It's while you were sleeping. All right, so 4 out of 5. That wasn't so bad.
No, that was easier than I thought.
You okay?
Yeah, I won most of them.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't.
Yeah, because mine won.
You won 2 of 3.
That's most of them.
All right. And on that note,
That's
good episode.